Okay, good day everyone. So in today's video, we are going to discuss how are we going to work with functions in Flutter, particularly in Dart. Okay, so we have here our the basic definition for a function. It is a block of code that performs a specific task. Okay, so we have already met functions with our previous videos. Okay, for example, okay, so we have here our a sample video that we have, or our sample topic with our previous videos. Now wherein we have here some text fields, text, and buttons. Okay, so my button is actually inside our row, so we could see here our button, and it has an onPressed method. Okay, or actually it is a function. Okay, so these are the anonymous functions provided by the elevated button widget. Okay, and these are, as it is defined, the line of codes or block of codes that perform a specific task. Okay, so functions is not actually new for you as of this moment, but what we are going to do now is we are going to create what we call as a user-defined function. Okay, so we are now going to work with the functions that we are going to define with ourselves, not the functions created by Flutter itself. Okay, so first is we are going to have the void functions. Void functions are actually the functions that doesn't return anything to the calling classes or functions also. Okay, so it's just going to perform something, then it doesn't return any values. Okay, so here what you could see in our two buttons, they both display, as you can see, when I click on submit, it displays a dialog box, or actually a dialog with submit as the title and the content for congratulations. Okay, and we have also here the cancel button, in which when I click on this one, it is also going to display an alert dialog. So as you can see here, we have the command for the first one for the submit button. So we have here, it shows a dialog box, and also with the cancel button, it also shows or displays a dialog. Okay, so as you can see here, both of the buttons displays dialog box, and actually as you can see here, we have the same commands, the same block of codes when you click on the submit or the cancel button, except for some things that they are actually different. For example, when I click on the cancel button, it is going to say you just canceled your registration. Okay, and when I'm going to click on submit, it says congratulations. Okay, so in our code, the only thing that differs on the two block of codes here for the alert dialog is actually for the content and the title. Okay, so we have here also the content and the title. Okay, so what are we going to do here is we are going to create a function that is going to display a dialog box. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to copy now the show dialog code. Okay, actually I'm going to cut it, then I'm going to create here just below, okay, just below the build function. Okay, so we have here our build function or build method. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a void function. I'm just going to call it show dialog box. Okay, then I'm going to return, no, we are not going to return, but we are just going to display a dialog box. Save. Okay, so take note here, show dialog box is a user-defined function inside the my home page state. Okay, so therefore, show dialog box belongs is actually a method or function that belongs to this class. Okay. Okay, so we have here now our show dialog box. So, okay, same command with what we have in our button. So as I've said, the only thing that differs on the two buttons here is actually for the title and the content. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have a parameter for my function now, a string for the title. Okay, so in such a way that what I'm going to do here is I'm going to display instead the word or the string cancel, I'm going to have the title here. Oops. So it shows an error. Why? It is because I have here the keyword const, in which the content now of the text widget here is a variable. So therefore, I'm going to delete the constant there. Okay. So next is we are going to have another string for the content. Okay. So instead that I'm going to have again a string message here, I'm going to use the parameter content. Okay, then same, we have the close button. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to call the method or the function show dialog box. So I'm going to look for my cancel button. So elevated. So this is my cancel button, and I have here the anonymous function for the onPressed method or function. So here I'm going to call show dialog box. Okay, and here it requires two parameters. We have for the titles, I'm just going to have cancel. Then for the content, you canceled your registration. Okay. Then for my submit button, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove the show dialog block here. Okay. Then I'm going to call. Okay, so inside the onPressed function, I'm going to call show dialog box with the title submit, and for the content we have congratulations. Successfully registered. Semicolon. Okay. Save. So as you can see here, we have actually optimized our code by creating a function for the dialog box. Instead that I'm going to have here the code for the show dialog for both of the buttons here. So what we have did is just actually we have created here a function that is going to show our dialog or alert dialog. Then in our buttons and the onPressed events or methods, we just call then our user-defined function with the name show dialog box. Okay, so I'm going to reload, and as you can see when I click on the submit button, so it displays submit. Okay, we have here it calls the show dialog box with the title submit and congratulations for the content. And for the cancel, so click on cancel. So we have here cancel for the title, and you cancel your registration for the content. Okay, so that's an example for a void function. Another one is we have a function that returns a widget. Okay, so what we have here so far, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 text fields, okay, and they are actually defined above our button. So we have here text field, and so on. Okay, and by the way, in every text field we have a sized box, okay, that is going to provide for the spacing here. Okay, so the first example that I'm going to give you is actually for the sized box. Okay, so what we're going to do here, instead that we are going to keep on calling for the sized box, then displays or pass a height for this one, we are going to define here actually a widget. So what I'm going to do here is we are going to define here a function that is going to return a widget. Okay, since the sized box, actually the function of the sized box is for vertical spacing, so I'm just going to have, I'm going to call it v or vertical spacer. Okay, then I'm going to have here let us say a space. No, I am just going to have it height. Okay, so the purpose, again, the purpose of this function here is going to return a vertical space by using our sized box widget. Okay, so what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to return a sized box with the height we have here, with the parameter, with the parameter height. Okay, so a very simple function that returns a sized box with the height based on the parameter height. Okay, so instead that I'm going to define a sized box here, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to call v spacer with 10.0 as our height. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to replace all instance of the sized box to vertical spacer function. Okay, then we have another one here for the sized box. Oops. Okay, the text field, then a sized box. Okay. Okay. And the last one here is we have another sized box. Okay, so save, and As you can see here, same result. So therefore, we have now eliminated here uh, the definition for the sized box, and instead we have created here a function that returns a sized box. Okay. So next is we're going to create also a function that is going to create a text field. Okay. So I'm going to have here a widget. I'm just going to call it create or build or whatever you want. So create text field. Okay. And I'm going to return, just going to copy here my text field. Okay, and we have here the keyword return, then the text field, and this should be semicolon. Okay, so what are the things that we are going to replace here so that we could create different text fields? Okay, so first is we have our controller. Okay, so we must have to change our controller. So what I'm going to have here is we are going to have a text editing controller. I'm going to call it controller. Okay, so that here we are going to change it to our controller. Also for the label text. Okay, so I'm going to have a string. I'm just going to call it label text. Then we have the hint, another string for hint text. What else? Okay, for the icon. So we're going to change also the icon, or for the suffix icon, comma, then it is actually of the type icon up here, icon data, then suffix icon. Okay, so here I'm going to change the label text for the parameter label text, then also with our hint text. Okay, take it here that this is our parameter, and last is we have our suffix icon. Okay, so it should not be constant. Okay, so we have now defined here a function that is going to return a text field that accepts different parameters for the controller, the hint text, and actually we also have our label text and our icon. Okay, so we have here our hint. No, this is our label text name, then that's our hint, and we have here also our icon. Okay, so first is I'm going to call create text field with the first text field that we have here. Okay, create text field with the name controller, the label text, which is we have the name, then we have our hint text. So what I'm doing here now is actually I'm just editing my old code and using now our method or function. Control C, then we have our suffix, give it there, comma. Then I'm just going to remove now my definition here for my text field. Save. Okay, so instead that I'm going to have the text field, instead I'm going to define here the text field. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to call the text field or the create text field method. Then I'm just going to supply the parameters This one here. Then for the address, and for the icon. Okay, so in your case, if ever that you're going to follow this tutorial here, so you are just going to change, this will be your assignment. You're going to change now, instead that we are going to have the definition here for the text field, so we're just going to call then for the create text field method. So save, reload. So we have here, as I'm going to type, so we have here. Now, take it here, be careful of the controllers, okay? Because if ever that you are going to submit or you're going to pass same controller, so they are going to have the same content. Okay, so that's for the text field. Again, you are going to also replace the text field definition here with the create text field. Okay, so we have here also our title. Okay, so we have here, for example, in this page, we have our page title here, and we have our subtitle. So what we have so far with our vspacer and create text field, they return a single widget. Okay, although that's actually a function that returns a widget must return a single widget. Okay, but also, for example, I want to create a method or a function that is going to return two text widgets, one for the title and one for the subtitle. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to delete them. Then I'm going to create here a widget. Let us say create headers. Now, if every time I'm going to return this one here, we have now two widgets. Okay, text and again another text. Okay, but again, as I've said a while ago, a function should return only a single widget. Okay, so what we're going to do here actually is, instead that we are going to return two widgets, we are going to have them inside a column. Then for the children, we're going to have the two widgets. Okay, so return for the column, semicolon here. Then, so that this would be still be used in other pages. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create here a parameter for the string title and another string for subtitle, so that instead that I'm going to have here a Flutter University string, I'm going to have here the title. So I'm going to remove now my const and also with the subtitle. Okay, save. Oops. Okay, as you can see, we still don't have the headers here. Why? It is because we have just created here the function, but we did not call the function from our build method. So we're going to have here create headers. Then I'm going to have Flutter University, and for the subtitle here we are going to have registration form. Okay, save, then reload. So you can see there now we have our registration or our headers. Okay, so as a result of the function that we have created, so you could see our method or our build method now contains a lot less number of lines compared with our previous code, in which we just have defined each of the widgets into our uh, build method. Okay. Now, so next is, how about if ever in other pages? So as you can see here now, we have only a single page here. Okay, but for example, in other pages, I want also to use these methods here. Okay, so we have the create text field and our vspacer, and also with our headers. Okay, so what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to create, okay, I'm going to copy, or I'm going to cut all of these. Then I'm going to create another Dart file here. I'm just going to call it widget creator. Okay, and I'm going to post or paste all of them here. Okay, it is giving us an error because we still don't have our material. Okay, so we have it here. So take note, I just transferred those widgets that those functions that returns a widget in a separate what's this? In a separate file. Okay, because what I want to do here is I'm going to use all of these in other pages. Okay, so when we go back to our main.dart, so as you can see here, we have now it returns now an error. Okay, why? It is because we have removed our methods from the main function, or from the main.dart. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is actually we are just going to import. Okay, I'm going to import the widget creator. Okay, so when I click on import library widget creator, the errors has been removed. And as you can see here then on top, so we have now imported our widget creator.dart as a package. Okay, so therefore I could use then, for example, I'm going to have in my second page, I'm going to import, okay, that one there. Then I could create here, create, so as you can see, create headers is now visible. Okay, create headers, then title, this is our second page, subtitle. Okay, I'm just going to have it, this is the second page. Okay, so we still, but as you can see, I'm not just going to run this one anymore. I'm just showing you now that those functions we have initialized, or we have created with our widget creator file, are now visible to all of our pages. Okay, so it's a very big convenience for us, since we are not going to define every time that we are going to create a text field, we don't need to define them as it is, but instead we're just going to have the create field or create text field function. Actually, you can also create methods for the buttons and so on. All of the widgets, you could actually create functions that are going to return a widget for each or any widget that you are going to use. Okay, so again, so we have discussed on how we're going to create void functions and also a function that returns a widget. Okay, so in our next videos, we are going to have more on the functions that contain some algorithms based on whatever topic that we are going to have on the next videos. Okay, so that's all for today, and I'll see you on the next video.